This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
INEC's continuous voter registration is still ongoing. Use the opportunity to register to vote. On the news this hour, President Tinubu decorates newly appointed service chiefs with new ranks. NNPCL seeks partners to revive Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries. Federal government releases 2.3 billion naira to ASU and other university unions. Governor Fubara seeks collaboration with NDE for job creation. On the foreign scene, Israel receives 2 hostage bodies from Hamas. I'm Sam Chinedu, and the news continues after the break. Welcome back. We begin the news this evening with the President Bola Tinubu decorating the newly appointed service chiefs with their new ranks. The ceremony took place in the council chamber of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The new Chief of Defense Staff, formerly Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, was decorated with a new rank of General. The new Chief of Army Staff, formerly Major General Wahidi Shaibu, was decorated with the rank of Lieutenant General. The Chief of Naval Staff, formerly Rear Admiral Idi Abbas, was decorated as Vice Admiral. The Chief of Air Staff, formerly Air Vice Marshal Kelvin Aneke, was decorated with the rank of Air Marshal, while the Chief of Defense Intelligence, formerly Major General Emmanuel Undiedeye, who was retained by the President, was elevated to the rank of Lieutenant General. Meanwhile, the new Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Idi Abbas, on Thursday resumed duty. Rear Admiral Abbas promised to strengthen the fight against crude oil theft, illegal bunkering, and other maritime crimes threatening Nigeria's economy. He made the promise when he spoke at the Navy headquarters in Abuja during the handing over ceremony. Rear Admiral Abbas agrees that despite notable achievements, Nigeria's maritime environment remains threatened by crude oil theft, sea robbery, illegal fishing, drug trafficking, and other maritime crimes that jeopardize national security and economic prosperity. The naval chief says he will prioritize improving maritime security, personnel training, and welfare, among other areas. To economic issues, President Bola Tinubu has approved a 15% tax on petrol and diesel imports into Nigeria. The initiative is supposed to protect local refineries and stabilize the downstream market. It may, however, increase the price of petrol. In a letter dated October 21, 2025, but made public on October 30, 2025, President Tinubu directed immediate implementation of the tariff. The letter was addressed to the Federal Inland Revenue Service and Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. In a related story, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is seeking partners to help revive the Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refineries. The refineries are not in operation despite the government having spent billions of dollars for its rehabilitation. Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, revealed this on X on Thursday. Ojulari says the move is to ensure the refineries operate effectively. Former GCEO of NNPC, Mele Kyari, had secured external partnerships worth $2.5 billion in contracts to rehabilitate the refineries. And to legislative matters, the Senate has confirmed Bernard Doro as a minister. In a screening session that lasted less than 30 minutes, Doro, the third ministerial nominee from Plateau State, told lawmakers that he will create synergy between security agencies for individuals affected by crisis, which he says is always a challenge. He believes technology can play a vital role in achieving this. And to education, the face-off between the federal government and university unions may soon be over. This is because the federal government says it has released about 2.3 billion naira to pay outstanding salaries and arrears owed to members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities and other university unions. The Director of Press and Public Relations at the Ministry of Education, Folashade Bariowo, said in a statement on Wednesday the money was released through the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. She added that the government is also finalizing the payments of non-statutory deductions and pension contributions to the Nigerian University Pension Management, which will be completed soon. And back here in Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara is seeking collaboration of the National Directorate of Employment on its job creation programs to benefit people of the state. Governor Fubara made the appeal when the management of the NDE visited him at the government house in Port Harcourt. He explained that the population in the urban areas in the state makes it important to create more jobs and reduce insecurity.
The only way we can also help not just the people of Rivers State, but also those strangers, is creating opportunities for them, making it easy for them to get something doing. In the course of that, it is a win-win for us. Issue of insecurity is resolved. I'm happy that the state is benefiting from the National Directorate of Employment. It is also better for us to also be part of it. It's because for the people of Rivers State and Nigeria to appreciate the effort of Mr. President, the state has to be part of what you're doing.
Governor Fubara also mentioned that a new shoreline discovered in Andoni local government area will have a positive economic impact on both the state and the country.
We now discovered a new shoreline that is even more attractive, economic viable than the Ogoyogodo. We call it the Ngo shoreline. Now we're talking about employment. I'm so happy that we are doing the right thing. And what is that right thing? Opening up that place, it gives you the opportunity for the state, the federal government, to tap into this aspect of the economy that we're all struggling to harness, the blue economy. This show, I'm telling you, is you're facing the Atlantic.
Earlier, the Director General of the NDE, Silas Agara, spoke about the agency's existing programs that support women in rural areas and youths in urban centers.
We are looking at some quick wins in Rivers State. From the research that have been carried out, we are quite mindful of the rural-urban migration issue, especially our young men from the rural area. They migrate to urban centers in search of a blue-collar job, especially here in Port Harcourt, where you have a lot of oil companies. And so the women in the rural areas are left at the mercy of a certain gap that affects family value. And through the NDA program, we are hoping to reach out to those women in the rural areas.
And still talking the River State government, it says it is monitoring reports that a private hospital in Port Harcourt kept a baby and his grandmother for over 1 year because of unpaid hospital bills. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Adeze Ore, confirmed that the Ministry of Health has contacted the management of Meridian Hospital after the story went viral. Dr. Ore said the hospital denied holding the baby and his grandmother. According to her, the hospital explained that the baby, who was born prematurely, was receiving care in its special baby unit.
We contacted the management of the said hospital. The information that then was made available to the ministry was that, contrary to the online report, the hospital had not detained the infant and his grandmother. The information available to the ministry was that following the demise of the infant's mother a few days after his delivery, he was being managed in the neonatal intensive care unit of the hospital.
Meanwhile, the case is now with the police and the juvenile court in Port Harcourt. Dr. Ore said the ministry is watching closely to ensure the matter ends peacefully and the baby is reunited with the family.
The matter is being heard by the courts. We are following the case to ensure that it comes to a peaceful resolution and the return of the little boy to his family for care in his home environment. The Rivers State Ministry of Health is fully monitoring the situation and will keep the public abreast of any further updates.
The hospital also released a statement on Monday denying the claim. It said it went to court only to protect the child from being abandoned and to request an order to transfer the baby to the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. And still in the health sector, there's finally relief for hundreds of newly employed health workers under the State Hospitals Management Board. The Rivers State government says it has paid all outstanding salaries owed to them. Commissioner for Health, Dr. Adeze Ore, explained that the delays occurred because biometric registration was suspended after emergency rule was declared in the state. She said the workers kept doing their jobs even when they were not paid. She added that the governor, Similai Fubara, has now approved full payment of all outstanding salaries up to October.
As at the time of the President's declaration of an end to the state of emergency in September 2025, those staff had not been paid. On resumption of office, His Excellency Governor Fubara immediately directed that all outstanding payment arrears should be paid not beyond the month of October. I, on behalf of the Rivers State Ministry of Health, appreciate His Excellency's commitment to the well-being of staff of the Rivers State government.
And that move is already receiving applause. The chairman of the River State Joint Public Negotiating Council, Mr. Emecheta Chukwu, is praising Governor Fubara for paying 8 months arrears. He says the payment will boost the state's economy and encourage productivity.
We equally want to use the opportunity to say we know that the governor is going into secretariat. He said he's going to renovate the secretariat. After the renovation, people have to occupy the offices in the secretariat. That the mainstream, that the secretariat, that the governor should equally look into it with a view of employing more hands to the mainstream of the service.
We'll take a break. When we return, court reserves ruling in suit by APC chairmanship candidates over Rivers LG polls. Stay with us. Welcome back. The River State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has reserved a ruling in a suit filed by the chairmanship candidates of the All Progressives Congress under the Emeka Beke-led faction of the party in the August 30 local government elections. The suit was filed against the River State Independent Electoral Commission. The presiding judge, Justice Stephen Jumbo, reserved ruling until Wednesday, November 5, after hearing arguments from both parties on whether the case was still relevant. Fubara Dagogo and 8 others are seeking a perpetual injunction restraining RISIEC from recognizing or accepting the results of the APC primaries held on August 4, 2025, or any other date. They argue that they were unlawfully substituted by the party whose list was forwarded to RISIEC in a letter dated August 7, 2025. The claimants are asking the court to declare them the authentic winners of the election. The APC in River State is facing leadership tussle. While one faction is led by Beke, the other is led by Tony Okocha. Away from the judiciary to environmental concerns in Akinima community in Ahoda West local government area of River State, where there are fears and worries for residents, as flood waters have taken over homes and churches in the area. One resident says families are suffering, children can't go to school, and snakes are now invading their homes. She says daily life has almost come to a standstill as the waters keep rising.
As this flood is, so we not get joy because we dey suffer. The flood don't reach everywhere. Our children don't fit go school. Cassava don't enter farm. Snake is everywhere. The children every day say we dey hungry. We got no money to even go pack, go find another new house. So today like so we dey find help. So we need help. Oh, we need help. The flood don't be small. We dey suffer. The children say they get things for body.
Homes are not the only places swallowed by the flood. Churches are affected too. The vicar of St. Peter's Anglican Church, Akinima Parish, Samson Stewart, and Christopher Aloha of the Assemblies of God Church says services were disrupted this week. They warned that if water levels continue to rise, they may be forced to move worship to a temporary location. Members of the community are now begging the government to stop talking and start acting. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Ahoda West Flood Committee, Ekwerogu Joseph, confirmed to our correspondent, Oinka Chiwosu, that the situation is getting worse and more communities are already underwater. He says plans are on the way to move victims to IDP camps. But as some residents count their losses, the River State government says it is not folding its arms. On Tuesday, the government announced it had begun taking steps to tackle flooding, starting with shoreline protection in parts of Ogba, Egbe, Mandoni, and Opobonkoro local government areas. The Eche Local Government Council is at it again as it flags off the remodeling of Eche Local Government Secretariat Complex. Chairman, Eche Local Government Council Chima Boniface Njoku, in a statement said the remodeling will comprise of landscaping, asphalting, security house, couples lodge, lock-up shops, canteen, and drainages. He invited all sons and daughters of Eche and the Obako Eche ethnic nationality to be part of the remodeling flag-off ceremony under the chairmanship of leader of APC in Eche, Ephraim Wuzi. Special guests of honor are PDP leader of Eche, Prince Ima Anyanwu, members of the River State House of Assembly, Ignatius Onwuka and Chimezie Wankwo, a former special advisor, Andrew Wanjoko. Others are APC chairman in Eche, Precious Amadi, and PDP chairman in Eche, Onwuka Reginald Chidi. The special guest of honor is Senator Orwell Onyeso, Senator representing Rivers East Senatorial District, and chief host is Namdi Okere. The paramount ruler of Egbeda Ubimini in Emoha local government area, His Royal Highness Eze C.N. Didia Nyewali Egbeda Ubimini, is inviting all stakeholders, Owo holders, youth organizations, and sons and daughters of Egbeda, both at home and in the diaspora, to an important community meeting. In a statement signed by Eze C.N. Didia, the meeting is meant to focus on the development and progress of the community. The statement urges full participation in the discussions aimed at fostering peace, unity, and development in Egbeda. The meeting is scheduled to be held on Friday, October 31, 2025, at the Egbeda Community Hall, beginning at 9 a.m. prompt. On the international scene, Israel has received 2 coffins from Hamas through the Red Cross in Gaza, said to contain the bodies of 2 Israeli hostages. According to Israeli Prime Minister's office, the bodies will be taken to the National Center of Forensics Medicine in Tel Aviv for identification. Hamas earlier announced that it had found the bodies of the hostages, Amiran Cooper and Sahar Baruch. And that's the news, but just before we go, let's take another look at the headlines. You heard President Bola Tinubu has decorated the newly appointed service chiefs with new ranks. We told you NNPCL is seeking partners to revive the Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna refineries. You heard the federal government has released 2.3 billion naira to ASU and other university unions. Reported Governor Siminalayi Fubara is seeking collaboration with NDE for job creation. On the foreign scene, Israel has received 2 hostage bodies from Hamas. The news was edited by Ifunaya Obeme Ndukwe. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Sam Chinedu. Thanks for listening.